I just want to let you guys know before the video starts that there will be spoilers for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So you haven't seen the film yet, go see it first and then come back to this video. Hi guys, I'm sorry that I haven't made a video in a while, but there just wasn't much I wanted to talk about. There wasn't a lot of news articles that came up that I felt like I wanted to provide my own opinion on. But I'm coming back with another video, this time talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which I did see last weekend, and I thought the movie was okay. I know a lot of people were disappointed by it, but I had pretty tempered expectations for it. I wasn't expecting some Avengers caliber movie. I was expecting an Ant-Man film, and that's kind of what I got. I thought it was better than the last one, Ant-Man and the Wasp, which to me was just kind of a nothing burger, kind of a meh villain, which is kind of with a hokey origin story. I thought the writing was very subpar. I thought the action scenes were decent enough, but overall, Ant-Man and the Wasp was fairly average. Quantumania was a little better though. I thought the screenplay was a lot better. I thought the action scenes were decent enough. It seems like the effects have kind of taken a bit of a downgrade. I felt like a lot of the CGI in the quantum realm looked kind of low quality. I'm not expecting Avatar level effects, but I felt like they could have been a little more inspired, I guess you could say. And then Kang, which I thought Kang was an okay villain. I actually thought he had a decent origin, but I felt like they made him too weak of a villain. It seemed like he was too much of a pushover. He's supposed to be this big, powerful guy who's supposed to be up there with Thanos, but he was just, they easily overpowered him. Now, they did reveal at the end that there's like a whole bunch of Kangs, but there really isn't. They just made him. I felt like they made him too much of a pushover. But other than that, I thought it was a fine movie. I don't have too much to complain about other than what I've already put forward. I still think the first Ant-Man was the better out of the three movies overall, but I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on the movie. But I didn't want to make this video specifically just to talk about the film. But apparently the film was not doing that great at the box office. Here it is on Wikipedia, but I'm going to look it up on Box Office Mojo right now. Okay, pull it up. Show you guys where it's sitting right now. It's sitting at about $257 million, which you might be thinking, well, in the first few days, that isn't too bad. Well, the thing is, though, Marvel movies tend to make the most money, or a good chunk of their money, within its opening weekend. It's actually not uncommon to see a Marvel movie drop 60% or 67% in their second weekend, because most people will want to go see it, will see it opening night or opening weekend to avoid spoilers. So this if it holds true for this film, it's not going to bode well for it, because look at the domestic in its opening weekend, which was $106 million. If we saw a 60% drop off, we'd be sitting at around $40 million. If it had like a 67%, we'd be looking closer to around $30 to $35 million. That's not very good. That could mean that we may end up seeing a domestic that struggles to get to even $250 million, which, compared to other films in the series, let's look up Ant-Man 1 here. Have a look. Let's look at Ant-Man. Its domestic run finished up at around $180 million with a $57 million opening. That's actually a pretty good. That's pretty good. If you look at the holds here, the drop-offs are pretty good for a Marvel movie. So, but once again, that's kind of the exception and not necessarily the rule. This one did a little better. Let's go to the weekend. This was one saw a bigger drop off. Though to be fair, around 62 is kind of within the range. So when you think about that, if we saw a similar drop off, we would be looking at once again around a $40 million second weekend, which doesn't sound terrible. That means it will likely, if it gets that kind of gross, it'll probably get 200 million domestic just fine. I would imagine 250 might be kind of up in the air domestic. Given the film's production budget, it needs to make about 500 million globally to break even. And if you look at the international box office, it's relatively soft. Even looking at China, it seems like the Chinese aren't really flocking to see this film. So the movie may be in trouble, but we'll have to wait for the second weekend box office. I'll probably make a video sometime next week with a little bit of an update on this film. But yeah, this so far it's not looking good for Marvel at the moment. So I believe they were saying this is supposed to be like an Endgame level film. I didn't see it as that. I just saw it as another Marvel movie. I knew it was going to be another Marvel movie, and well, I think I was right. But given that the franchise has kind of been in trouble, I've heard that this movie might be kind of one of those films where if it doesn't do well, there might be a lot of big changes coming to the franchise. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts. What did you guys think of the movie? Where do you think the box office may land, either for this upcoming weekend or perhaps maybe how we'll do domestic or international? I feel like it's a little early to tell internationally, but domestic I do have some predictions, but I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys again soon for another video. Take care.